In the top stories, COVID-19 vaccine to provide coverage for 20% of the population in the first instance. National Assembly to meet later this week, and Skelec shows love to former employees. The details on these stories and more after the break.
Ease the squeeze with Digicel. Win $1,000 in groceries monthly. Get your chance when you activate any Digicel Prime bundle. Pay your bill in full. Sign up for a new postpaid or home entertainment package, or simply just join the Digicel family. It's that simple. Be one of 4 lucky winners selected every month from January to March to participate in our Ease the Squeeze shopping sweepstakes. Digicel gives you more, so you can ease the squeeze. Digicel, better together.
Without limits, happy, free. Skin you're in with no apology. Want to seize the day. Grab a letter B. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Live, love, be. Be who you know you can be. Grab an LLB. Live, love, be. Angostura, lemon, lime and bitters. Live, love, be.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 Newscast. I am Scotty Sia Hendrickson. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws said that the procurement in the first instance of 21,600 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine will provide coverage for 20% of the national population. She said this during the National Emergency Operations Center NEOC COVID-19 press briefing on February 10th. The doses are the product of AstraZeneca and Oxford University vaccines, she said.
That date for delivery can be as early as mid to late February. However, there were some conditions. The specific date of delivery would be dependent on the WHO emergency use listing approval process and some other steps which include our own implementation of our vaccination plan and our regulatory preparedness. It specified that about 25 to 35% of the amount will be supplied in the first quarter and about 65 to 75% in the second quarter.
Dr. Laws said the data from the clinical trial suggests that it offers a 62% efficacy, but the clinical trials have since found that the vaccine had an efficacy of about 82% when 2 doses were given within 12 weeks. Notice have been given for the first sitting of the National Assembly for 2021. The sitting will be held at the National Assembly Chambers Government Headquarters, Bastille, on Thursday, 18th February 2021 at 10 a.m. According to information out of Government Headquarters, the order papers and other papers will be disseminated later. The National Assembly will be carried live on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM and participating radio stations. It can also be viewed live on TV Channel 5 in St. Kitts and Channel 98 in Nevis. It will also be streamed live at www.zizonline.com. Copies of bills can be found on the website sknis.kn of St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service under the section Bills. In other national news, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, the St. Kitts Electricity Company Skelec showed love to former employees through the distribution of love baskets on Friday. General Manager of Skelec, Clement Williams, said this is an annual initiative undertaken by the company to show love to former employees.
This is another year when we've been going round to our former employees, just sharing the love, presenting love baskets, showing the appreciation for all the former employees of the electricity department and Skelec. just letting them know that we remember them, we love them.
James Borman Hanley worked at the electricity department for approximately 3 decades, expressed his appreciation for the Love Basket.
First of all, I want to say thanks to the company for thinking about me. You know, I've left, this year going to make 10 years since I'm not with electricity. I've enjoyed my time there, even though the terms I left on were not the best. I enjoy my 30 years working at electricity. I just want to, again, appreciate what y'all have done in terms of looking after the folks who made the contributions over the years.
Lydia Manners, also known as Dumpling, said she loved the work she did at the electricity department and was pleased that she was remembered by her former co-workers.
I'm glad that you all remember me, and I love you all. Him choose the gun there and me battle to decide where I have to walk in, and I pick them up, I put them in a bag, and I throw them on the road. I love all you. Thank you all. God bless you all. This is coming from Dumpling.
Love baskets were presented to former Skelec employees Curtly Brown, James Hanley, Lydia Manners, Edmonston Lewis, and Janet Nias. After the break, health officials say HIV is not a gay disease, and Europa hardware to donate to frontline workers. Stay with us.
Power up in February at Hortswood's Value Mart IGA. Yes, in February, we are giving you 3 ways to power up. 1. Power up your Value Club points in February. Yes, for the first time ever, every Value Club customer will earn double points on all Value Club purchases at Value Mart in St. Kitts, Nevis. 2. Power up in our Power Play, where lucky customers win their purchases free. 3. Power up your savings with the Hortswood's Value Mart Red Tag Value Deals. Yes, power up the savings with huge discounts on select Value Deals items. So, power up your points with double points on all Value Club purchases. Power up your savings with rock bottom prices on our new Red Tag Value Deals, and be a lucky customer to win your purchases free in our Power Play. Power up in February at Hortswood's Value Mart IGA. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply.
There is no better time to discover what your National Bank Visa debit or black cards can do.
Mimi, what's that song?
It can get you out of a pickle. Using my National Bank Visa card is fast, secure, and convenient.
Cashless SKN is our new lifestyle choice. National Bank, always here.
Welcome back. Dr. Matthias Ofri, St. Kitts and Nevis National HIV/AIDS Program Coordinator, said that HIV/AIDS is not a gay disease because it does not discriminate with respect to a person's sexual orientation. Dr. Ofri was at the time speaking on the radio and a television show Working for You on February 10th, 2021.
I will want to say that it is not a gay disease because it's not only transmitted from gay persons. Both straight individuals can actually get infected. That's why we said if having unprotected sex with unprotected vaginal or anal sex could predispose an individual to being infected. So
or oral.
Yes, or oral. It's not just for gay population.
Lucine Pemberton Vaughan, health educator counselor, who also appeared on the show, said that in terms of stigma and discrimination, persons have moved away from labeling men who have sex with men and also labeling sex workers. She said that sex workers, because of their trade, are usually more conscious in having protective sex. The National HIV/AIDS Program Coordinator said education about the disease is done to reduce stigma and discrimination. He said that appearing on programs such as Working for You helps people to develop an awareness that HIV is not a death sentence.
The stigma, we have now moved away from labels about men who have sex with men and the sex workers. I want to put in a plug here. The sex workers are safer than the average person because they know their trade and they protect themselves. We here playing careless, all right? So they are good. We have moved away from the labels, and we have, because what it is not so much the men who have sex with men. It has to do with the risky behaviors.
And finally, on the local scene, Europa Hardware, St. Kitts and Nevis Limited will be donating tools to the frontline workers of St. Kitts Nevis through a raffle to be held next week. According to a statement from Europa Hardware, last year, management decided to donate the tools in a show of deep appreciation and encouragement to those who are doing their best to fight COVID-19 and thereby protecting the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Manager of Europa Hardware, Cecil Rollins, spoke with ZIZ about the specifics of the raffle.
Now specifically, the nurses, policemen and women, and also firefighters. Now we sent out letters of invitation to the head of those various departments for their members to register for a job. Now registration was done in 3 different ways, being 1, you come to the store in person, 2, via telephone, and 3, via our Facebook page. Now some unforeseen circumstances occurred, hence the reason it will only now take place next Tuesday, and all winners will be notified the following day. There will be 3 separate draws and 10 winners for each category.
On Tuesday, Europa Hardware will donate 30 pieces of tools ranging from brush cutters, leaf blowers, and hedge trimmers, the value of which is in excess of $30,000. Europa Hardware St. Kitts Nevis Limited has been operating on the island for over 6 years now and is an authorized agent for Still brand of gardening care and forestry tools and machinery. During 2020, Europa Hardware made similar donations in Antigua, St. Lucia, and Grenada, where they also operate. Coming up in regional news, UN envoy destroys rebuke for bid to relax Venezuela's sanctions. The details when we come back.
Power up in February at Hortswood's Value Mart IGA. Yes, in February, we are giving you 3 ways to power up. 1. Power up your Value Club points in February. Yes, for the first time ever, every Value Club customer will earn double points on all Value Club purchases at Value Mart in St. Kitts Nevis. 2. Power up in our Power Play, where lucky customers win their purchases free. 3. Power up your savings with the Hortswood's Value Mart Red Tag Value Deals. Yes, power up the savings with huge discounts on select Value Deals items. So, power up your points with double points on all Value Club purchases. Power up your savings with rock bottom prices on our new Red Tag Value Deals, and be a lucky customer to win your purchases free in our Power Play. Power up in February at Hortswood's Value Mart IGA. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply.
There's nothing good about jail. I don't want to be here.
My father told me that as far as he was concerned, I could stay in the home forever.
Our children deserve a chance for change. Children make mistakes, and child justice reform can help everyone to address these mistakes appropriately. Instead of sending a child to adult prison, let us give them alternative sentencing. We must divert our children from the court system through a holistic and systematic approach to addressing their offense and their road to rehabilitation. Rehabilitation helps child offenders to grow, change, learn from mistakes, accept responsibility, and make better choices. Reintegration of child offenders into the community after rehabilitation benefits the child, the family, and the community with a more productive citizen. Join the movement to give our children a chance for change. This message is brought to you by the USAID OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project 2, funded by the United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to oecs.org/JJRP.
A UN envoy says international sanctions are making Venezuela's humanitarian crisis worse. UN Special Reporter Elena Dohan has been in the country for the last 12 days. She is urging the United States, the United Kingdom, and Portugal to give the government in Caracas access to frozen funds. Al Jazeera's Latin America editor Lucia Newman reports.
It's no secret that Venezuela is experiencing a worsening humanitarian catastrophe. Every day, more Venezuelans join the more than 5 million who've already fled the country, the majority to other parts of Latin America. The UN High Commission for Human Rights has consistently accused President Nicolás Maduro of overseeing grave rights violations. But a UN Special Rapporteur has issued a new damning report arguing that international sanctions are also responsible for making Venezuelans' lives a misery.
Unilateral sanctions increasingly imposed by the United States, the European Union, and other countries have exacerbated the above-mentioned challenges.
The Special Rapporteur says economic and financial sanctions imposed especially by the United States since 2015 have had a devastating impact on access to food, medicine, fuel, water, and electricity. But the report also recognized that the economy began shrinking earlier in 2014 when oil prices plummeted, spurred by mismanagement, corruption, and price controls. The government's revenue was reported to shrink by 99%, with the country currently living on only 1% of its pre-sanctions income. The Special Rapporteur says that unilateral sanctions against the oil, gold, mining sectors and the state-owned airline constitute a violation of international law.
Today, the UN Special Rapporteur has called on the United States and the EU to review and lift the sanctions against Venezuela because they have exacerbated a gigantic humanitarian crisis against our people.
But opponents who urge the international community to strengthen sanctions to force out what many regard as a dictatorship insist that Maduro has only himself to blame.
Since 2016, we warned that there was a humanitarian emergency underway in Venezuela, which the dictatorship denied over and over, until we reached a catastrophe. Hospitals have no gauze, no alcohol, no oxygen in many cases.
Whoever is to blame, the new U.S. administration has indicated it won't significantly ease sanctions, unless the move is accompanied by equally significant political change in Venezuela. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera.
Coming up, patrols in the U.S. to stop violence against Asian Americans. We'll tell you more when we come back.
Horsewords Building and Nevis Centers are making lawn and garden easy! Come to Horsewords Building and Nevis Center now and get 25% off school-wide on our entire lawn and garden department. Yes! For the months of February and March, Horsewords Building Center and Nevis Center is making improving your lawn and garden easy. 25% off all garden supplies, garden equipment, garden accessories, including weed eaters, lawnmowers, and much more. Get 25% off all lawn and garden items happening now at Horsewords Building Center in St. Kitts and Nevis. Horsewords Building and Nevis Centers, making home improvement easy!
Here's how I pay my Flow bills using the MyFlow app in just 3 easy steps. First, I downloaded the free app from the App Store. Then, I opened the app and logged in with my Flow ID. I activated my Flow ID earlier for free at flowid.co. I clicked on the account number and watched the magic begin. All my bills and the info right there at my fingertips. Just confirm the payment amount, then card details, and that's it. No trips to town, no long lines, and no hassle. Flow is keeping me connected.
This is supposed to be a time of Lunar New Year celebrations for most Asian communities worldwide, but attacks are arising against Asian Americans in the United States. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds has this report.
It's no secret that Venezuela is experiencing a worsening humanitarian catastrophe. Every day, more Venezuelans join the more than 5 million who've already fled the country, the majority to other parts of Latin America. The UN High Commission for Human Rights has consistently accused President Nicolás Maduro of overseeing grave rights violations. But a UN Special Rapporteur has issued a new damning report arguing that international sanctions are also responsible for making Venezuelans' lives a misery.
Unilateral sanctions increasingly imposed by the United States, the European Union, and other countries have exacerbated the above-mentioned challenges.
The Special Rapporteur says economic and financial sanctions imposed especially by the United States since 2015 have had a devastating impact on access to food, medicine, fuel, water, and electricity. But the report also recognized that the economy began shrinking earlier in 2014 when oil prices plummeted, spurred by mismanagement, corruption, and price controls. The government's revenue was reported to shrink by 99%, with the country currently living on only 1% of its pre-sanctions income. The Special Rapporteur says that unilateral sanctions against the oil, gold, mining sectors and the state-owned airline constitute a violation of international law.
Today, the UN Special Rapporteur has called on the United States and the EU to review and lift the sanctions against Venezuela because they have exacerbated a gigantic humanitarian crisis against our people.
But opponents who urge the international community to strengthen sanctions to force out what many regard as a dictatorship insist that Maduro has only himself to blame.
Since 2016, we warned that there was a humanitarian emergency underway in Venezuela, which the dictatorship denied over and over, until we reached a catastrophe. Hospitals have no gauze, no alcohol, no oxygen in many cases.
Whoever is to blame, the new U.S. administration has indicated it won't significantly ease sanctions, unless the move is accompanied by equally significant political change in Venezuela. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera.
Coming up, patrols in the U.S. to stop violence against Asian Americans. We'll tell you more when we come back.
Horsewords Building and Nevis Centers are making lawn and garden easy! Come to Horsewords Building and Nevis Center now and get 25% off school-wide on our entire lawn and garden department. Yes! For the months of February and March, Horsewords Building Center and Nevis Center is making improving your lawn and garden easy. 25% off all garden supplies, garden equipment, garden accessories, including weed eaters, lawnmowers, and much more. Get 25% off all lawn and garden items happening now at Horsewords Building Center in St. Kitts and Nevis. Horsewords Building and Nevis Centers, making home
Easy! Here's how I pay my Flow bills using the MyFlow app in just 3 easy steps. First, I downloaded the free app from the App Store. Then, I opened the app and logged in with my Flow ID. I activated my Flow ID earlier for free at flowid.co. I clicked on the account number and watched the magic begin. All my bills and the info right there at my fingertips. Just confirm the payment amount, then card details, and that's it. No trips to town, no long lines, and no hassle. Flow is keeping me connected.
This is supposed to be a time of Lunar New Year celebrations for most Asian communities worldwide, but attacks are arising against Asian Americans in the United States. Al Jazeera's Rob Reynolds has this report.
The videos are shocking. In San Francisco, a man attacks 84-year-old Vicha Ratanapakdi, injuring him so badly he later died. In Oakland's historically Chinese neighborhood, a 91-year-old man is violently pushed to the ground, smashing his head on the curb and causing serious injuries. Surveillance video in an Oakland Chinatown shop shows an assailant waiting till an elderly woman takes out money, then tries to violently rob her before racing off. Researchers see an uptick in crimes against Asian Americans.
We don't know if they're racially motivated or not, and so we're not calling them hate crimes because we have no clear racial bias intent. We do know, though, that Asian American elderly have been targeted in our data. Asian American elderly are disproportionately represented, and that's why it's so horrific.
Among Asian communities, a wave of attacks has turned what should be a time of celebration, the Lunar New Year and dawning of the Year of the Ox, into a season of fear instead.
Within the community, there are many seniors who live inside Chinatown. They are also afraid to walk on their own streets.
In the 2 violent attacks seen here, police have arrested suspects and charged them with crimes.
We've increased our routine patrols in our Chinatown area. Community members are coming out and walking and being more visible in our Chinatown areas.
In San Francisco, community members have started a sidewalk patrol group.
What we want to do is to make our elderly feel safe. You know, there are a lot are out and about right now because of the Chinese New Year and Lunar New Year. And we just want to make them feel safe.
Activists say the assaults reflect a bigger problem in U.S. society.
It's part of the, again, deep-rooted systemic racism in America that sees some people as belonging and others as outsiders. And right now we're cast as perpetual foreigners and threats.
Researchers at San Francisco State University recorded 2,800 racist incidents involving Asian Americans last year, ranging from verbal abuse and spitting to physical assault. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
Up next in sports, Leeward's Hurricane swept over Barbados' pride in the CG Insurance Super 50. And the Tokyo Olympics chief Yoshiro Mori resigns over sexist comments. Stay tuned.
Imagine having the luxury of putting all your trust in one insurance company and being able to enjoy life to the fullest without having to worry. Well, don't imagine. National Caribbean Insurance is here to take care of all your insurance needs. Insure your life, vehicle, boat, home, belongings, and your future. At NCI, we make it our business to ensure that you enjoy every stage in life. We serve, we protect, we satisfy. That's NCI.
Welcome back. With the force of a flamboyant KAC Carter century, the Leeward's hurricane swept over Barbados' pride in the CG Insurance Super 50 on Wednesday. The details from Jack Matthew of ABS News.
Carty came to the party with his maiden list ton, a sensational unbeaten 123, as the Hurricanes powered past the opposition's total of 301. The 23-year-old led the 2019 runners-up, who had lost the opening game, to 305 for 6 with 3 balls to spare. Carty's magnificent performance, which came off 125 balls and included 9 fours and 3 sixes, earned him the Man of the Match award. The Anguillan featured in the third wicket stand of 98 with Nitish Kumar, who struck 41, and added 63 with Captain Devon Thomas, who made 23. Critically, Hayden Walsh Jr. fired 28 of just 9 balls, cracking 3 sixes and 1 4 to help his side over the line after they needed to score a 13 over. The epic contest produced over 600 runs for 14 wickets of 99.3 overs. In the Barbados innings of 301 for 8, Shamar Brooks hit 96 and Jonathan Carter made 58, while fast bowler Quinton Boatswain bagged 4 for 62. With the pride of Barbados now dented twice, they have much to do to keep their semi-final hopes alive. Jack Matthew, ABS Sports.
The head of Japan's Olympics organizing committee has stepped down after recently making sexist comments. Yoshiro Mori had been facing a backlash in Japan and abroad after saying women talk too much. Organizers say they will try to find a new president as soon as possible. Al Jazeera's Bernard Smith has this report.
It's taken more than a week for Tokyo's Olympic chief to realise that you can't complain in a meeting that women talk too much and expect to get away with it. Yoshiro Mori had apologised but refused to stand down. But a groundswell of criticism from sponsors, athletes, diplomats and the Japanese public forced the former Prime Minister to resign.
My inappropriate remarks caused turmoil. I'm sincerely sorry for causing trouble for so many, including organising committees and everyone involved in the Olympics. As long as I remain in this position, it causes trouble. It would ruin everything we've built up until now, and this cannot be allowed.
The Games organisers say they'll set up a transparent candidate review committee to select Mori's successor, but no date has been set. They've just 5 months to pull off an Olympics in perhaps the most challenging circumstances the modern Games has faced.
I don't think there's any need to discuss the gender in the selection of the president. I think it's all about choosing the qualified person.
One challenge for the new chief will be to persuade an increasingly sceptical Japanese public that the Games will be worth the expense and effort. In recent polls, more than 80% of them think the Games should be postponed or cancelled.
They should cancel the Olympics as soon as possible and use the money they'll invest to support the people who are suffering from the coronavirus.
The International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach says they'll continue to work hand in hand with Mori's successor to deliver a safe and secure Games. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera.
When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines. And now for a recap of the top stories. COVID-19 vaccine will provide coverage for 20% of the population in the first instance. National Assembly to meet later this week, and Skelec shows love to former employees. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 Newscast. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Scotty C. Hendrickson. Have a good one.